All right, welcome back. Game number 1 in a best of 1. As this is still the second round of the tournament. Best of 3s will begin after this, so just a couple quick rounds of elimination. But thank you guys for joining us here for the Corsair Cup. It is going to be a TvP, and spawning here on the bottom left side of Orbital Shipyard, we got the purple Protoss. It's going to be GunGFuBanDa.
In the top right, as the yellow Terran, he is Botvinnik. Previously on My Insanity.
Yeah, recently caught our eyes through several of the qualifiers. I've mentioned the last few times we've cast him, Botvinnik's actually a player who's been around for a while, back on Prende SC2, and not a bad player at all, but really kicked it up recently for our Ting qualifiers. That series versus Harstem in particular, I remember Harstem telling us like on that interview about how his heart was beating and couldn't believe it type thing. I've got high hopes for Botvinnik, but it is a best of 1, and it's really hard to say how anything can go in a best of 1, because your best players in the world can still lose a best of 1.
Yeah. We already have a pretty aggressive opener from GunGFuBanDa. Double gateway and then his cybernetics core, so see what he wants to do with that. Botvinnik is going to scout with an SCV because, well, he doesn't have a Reaper to scout with. He went for a gasless expand, and he will need that scouting. Might need a bunker, but we'll see what GunGfu has in store here.
So we had mentioned slightly before we got into the game about the doomsday coming for BaseTradeTV. To put at ease those who have not been following the story too quickly or too closely, there's no actual bad things coming our way. We lucked out really nicely last month on the 20th and had a crazy sub day. I can't even begin. Like, I'll never forget that day for my entire broadcasting career because we got like 200 subs in a matter of like an hour and a half. That's insane. We were like two subs away from 900. We were already pushing it, thinking like, yeah, this is insane. Can we even hit 900 by the end of the month? But yeah, in a matter of hours, we blew past our goal. And we do know that a lot of people just subbed for the hype, and they definitely won't be coming back for a second month, and that's fine. That's to be expected. The question is, though, how big is that fall off? So right now, again, we've been talking about this not because we're trying to stroke our own ego, but because we are at 1,249 subscribers. We are damn close to seeing if that number stays anywhere near. Now, a couple of very important things happened, but in a very cost-ineffective way. Botvinnik has set up good defense to stop this pylon attack that a lot of Protoss players have been doing. Mana was a great example of this if you guys watched the Ting Open. Normally what you do, though, is you put one bunker here on the low ground, and it zones out the pylons from both sides. 2 bunkers on the high ground, it's silly and costs a little bit more, but it's still kind of safe. I mean, this pylon here is still going to be able to break one of the depots. That's what sucks for Botvinnik ultimately at the end of the day. But this he's got a lot of Marines. He can chase the mothership core off. Who cares about the pylon if there's nothing to overcharge it?
That is a very dangerous decision, but it does work out. It's getting that mothership, and he still has the wall to fall back on. Nicely done by Botvinnik.
He's going to bleed the Marines, but that's minerals versus gas, and that mothership core is quite costly. There's a lot of builds that involve not even getting it because you need the gas for other things. So mothership core starts up for round 2, but a proxy robo's on the way for GunGFuBanDa, and I had referenced his chiefs before. Thank God there was an engineering bay block to see that this was coming, otherwise he would have no idea that there was still no Nexus down.
So this might have been a type of situation where you actually forced GunGFuBanDa's hand by engineering bay blocking. We'll never know, because we'll never be able to go see what it would be like without the engineering bay. But
it's hard to say because I feel like on this map you could arguably just take this base instead.
You could. That's a decent point. It's over the shipyard, and it's still pretty close to your main. But I think that this all went south once GunGfu was scouted. Like that SCV scout was something that he was hoping to never come, first of all, and then you could just try and deny the Reaper, because usually it's a Reaper scout, not, well, sometimes it's SCV scout. But the Reaper scout could be denied, and then maybe you still get everything done that you would want, and maybe you catch them building the bunker on the low ground right before it's finished, and you break that down with the amount of units you're getting from a double gateway opener. Instead, everything went south. The pylons couldn't go up, the stalkers weren't there in time to help him out, and this is still the best defense that Botvinnik can have. Like 2 bunkers full of units, starting to clump his other units together. Doesn't get extra add-ons for his other 2 barracks. He just wants to build as many units as possible. I mean, having Stim right there is really dangerous, but it was a risk he was willing to take.
If he pulls SCVs to the front lines, just holds this choke, I think this is totally doable. I do think one of the problems, though, is Botvinnik's not placed any Marauder. Like, the one Marauder just came out, second Marauder on the way. Without those in the bunker, they don't have that little bit of extra range where they could be reaching that Stalker right now.
Yeah, that's a bit of a Yeah.
Oh, the supply depot, or sorry, the bunker is going to go down.
Jesus. Yeah, that was surprisingly close. But big deal here is that not only does the barracks potentially go down, but if it goes down, that actually stops Stim. So you have to be very careful. You don't want to lift that accidentally because you're so used to being able to lift that from the front lines. He needs Stim to finish.
It's so close, too.
He needs it to finish. Now he needs to actually repair Stim.
Oh, the force
fields! Not gonna
finish.
finish.
Oh, the deny! GunGFuBanDa, you devious, dastardly Protoss!
Yeah, he's gonna need more bunkers behind this. I guess he could try and hope that GunGfu pushes up and then get a concave and all of his SCVs on it, but I don't think he has enough units to do that quite yet.
No, but it's getting to that point. And furthermore, we're gonna have the Warp Prism here made for a little bit of micro, turn things into blink units that aren't normally blink units. You know the deal. But Smelly Pickle, thank you for the 2-month resub.
Well, it's really unfortunate he doesn't have Stim. Maybe he should have gone for combat shields first, as a faster upgrade would have been done. But he's going to have a medevac and +1, so that's still pretty helpful. He still has a lot of SCVs to use, too. Like, he could lose 20 and still be in this game.
Lift the damn barracks.
Yeah, now that Stim isn't there, just lift it.
There's no necessity to keep this going. So there's going to be an observer, so the Widowmine's not going to be as great as it could be. But I do like that Botvinnik managed to snipe off a couple of the sentries. That wasn't too bad.
At this point, it is just about Botvinnik, like, utilizing his bank, you know? He didn't really have the production that you're supposed to have because he wasn't able to get on add-ons, so no reactors, no tech labs. Not even on his starport or his factory. So whatever you can get it, including Widow Mines. I mean, hell, even like a Cyclone would be useful right now. It'd actually be really useful, but he doesn't want to wait for that tech lab.
I don't know that they've been able to maneuver the Cyclone. There's been a really good amount of force field control to GunGFuBanDa, trapping a lot of units in constantly through this. But we got a new sub, hi, Venatus89.
Woo!
Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Medevac coming out certainly presents a different dynamic now. It can heal these units, which is great, but they don't have Stim. They can just kind of poke in and fall back a bit. But the Immortal Barrier, while it's been popped off of cooldown, and he did take it off of autocast after that first time, it's not being triggered, and he's got a lot of health on this thing, still good to go. In fact, he might lose it. There's the trigger. He does force it automatically, but unfortunately, or not automatically, manually, excuse me. But despite this, though, the SV still need to get pulled. Time Warp's proven to be a bit of an issue for the first time ever.
Yeah, that actually did help. Widowmine's going to come forward. There's a observer, so it shouldn't get too many hot shots off. Oh, it is focused down. That is a lot of units. However, Sim is almost done. They have upgrades. They have numbers. Like half of them were dealing with Warp Prism harassment, but altogether, that actually is a formidable army from Botvinnik.
Right, and two kind of key things happening now. One, Stim's finishing. He's going to have Stim. He did the whole fight without Stim. Fantastically done. Secondly, though, GunGFuBanDa did expand. So this isn't that one-base situation. He scans for this, too. Very important, because if Botvinnik was just simply defending in a situation where GunGFuBanDa only had one base, Botvinnik wins this game. But that's not what happened. Snipes off the observer, immediately goes across the map. He's going to hope Botvinnik plays a little bit scared, a little bit of blind defense. Warp Prism gets into the natural to be annoying. But while this goes on, unloading over here, not going to go for a drop, but looks like he wants to break the front, so might just try and come down the ramp and then swoop in from behind.
Well, Stim and upgrades.
Oh, he gets down there really quick. No chance for a force field. Thinks he trapped him in, but he's not going to. Surprise, surprise, attack from behind, and Botvinnik deals with this attack pretty easily now. Marauders are so good against Stalkers.
That should probably be game. I mean, there's two things that are really important that even if he hadn't killed the army, would lead to a very, very tough game from GunGfu. I'm not sure about that. But that's, there was a lack of tech. Eventually his robo was going to get broken, and that was the only tech he really had. He got a Twilight Council, but good luck actually getting something from that before Medevacs was going to start attacking you. With the army also dead, there's not much you can say is going for GunGfu right now. He should just die.
Yeah, I mean, the Warp Prism harass is going to continue, and he will keep poking around the side, but that's not really going to matter because the force going across the map, Botvinnik could lose 100% of everything back at home, and it'd be a little irrelevant compared to the fact that he's got nothing to defend. It's kind of base trade mentality, right?
Yeah. There's not too much energy on these medevacs, and, stimming does always look a little bit scary with Potent Overcharge being able to do as much damage as it can, but not many Potent Overcharges. There's no charge lots. The Adepts are dealing decently as tanks. Looks like Botvinnik has cleaned up the Warp Prism harassment for now, but is unable to actually break GunGfu. He's just barely holding on here.
Yeah, medevac's completely out of juice. Didn't realize it couldn't heal anything.
Yep. Well, that is, part of the reason he was pushed back was that his other army, his reinforcements, were all dealing with this Warp Prism, which still has not been taken care of.
Fresh meals come down.
He's trying his best to bring himself back into this game. Up in probes, it doesn't count for mules. Soon enough, Botvinnik will just be able to lift his main and have a fresh new mining base at the third. I really wish that Botvinnik would get a Viking.
BaseTradeTV, you didn't sound happy when my resub came up. Well, maybe Smelly Pickles if you quit telling me how to live my life on the farm. Definitely one of the contributing people towards Sprinkler getting banned. I'm just saying.
I like you, Smelly Pickles. You haven't critiqued my Tomb Raider play.
Let's be honest, though. How much do you really like Smelly Pickles? Because if I'm going to eat into a pickle, you know, like, cheese kind of has this thing where, like, cheese is smelly, and that's part of why it tastes better because of, like, I don't know, the organisms.
That has never been true for me. Like, I don't know why that ever became a thing. Like, all the cheese that I eat does not smell. Munster, provolone, Swiss, cheddar.
Okay, well, point being, I don't think I would want to bite into a pickle and have it be smelly.
Well, what if he just thinks that all pickles are smelly? Because they do have a very distinct smell.
What if she thinks all pickles are smelly?
He or she, that's correct.
She.
Oh, what if she thinks that all pickles are smelly? You don't know.
Alright, so funny enough, the engineering man going down is going to hurt a little bit. Not so bad because, of course, he has one at home. But that does kind of cut into, I think, I didn't check earlier, I think he used that for upgrades. I mean, it is 1-1. I don't remember seeing, like, 1 into 1, but maybe I'm completely I missed it, so I don't know.
It was 1 into 1.
Okay. Liberators coming up next, going to be really nice. This game is shaped into a bit more of a normal game than I expected. Both players kind of moving towards thirds simultaneously. But that being said, I mean, DTs, well, thank God turrets are coming down, but DTs are going to be a bit of a problem.
So Blinkstalkers tried to take care of a drop to the left, and they almost took care of it entirely, but actually ended up taking quite a bit of damage on them as most of the drop unloaded. So harassment going on everywhere. This is an army fight that Botvinnik has to be very careful to take, as it's a lot of Protoss army, and he will have to disengage. DT is starting to kill a lot of SCVs, even though a missile turret's down. There's nothing to kill the DTs. There's a couple of Marines now.
Alright, so before go down, not too devastating, but it's worth noting Botvinnik has been on sort of the back end of this for a while. Look at the graphs mod, it was pretty clear when those adepts came in, you know, GunGFuBanDa really overtook his opponent in income, but was that money enough to bring him back from that initial loss? I mean, losing the Robo, losing everything on the front lines, that dedication, that was messy, that was difficult. Mr. Boris Macro, by the way, donates $5 more into the pot, and he says, don't know if you saw my message in chat, but the day you worry about would be the 30 days tomorrow, since February only has 9 days. Yeah, I know, Mr. Boris. So it's not about like how much we lose tomorrow, it's how much we come out ahead on the day after. Or not ahead. How much we survive the day after. Like, you could win the war, but if one person's alive in your country, they can't reproduce, no more babies, your country's dead.
I can't tell if this is actually what he was thinking, or he's really good at covering up that he didn't notice that.
What? No, like, that's what makes more sense. Like, because we're not going to see live time, like, oh, are people falling off one per hour or anything like that. It is going to be the difference of seeing, okay, we went to bed with 1,000 subs, we woke up with 800, you know?
Sure.
But also, I will throw out there, I am quite good at covering things up. I'm pretty sure that if I had to make that up on the fly, I could have.
I know. I was giving you a compliment.
Yeah, thank you. I'm thanking you for that compliment.
You're welcome. We actually have disruptors on the way out, which is odd, because he did see the Liberators chasing down the army that was retreating, and I thought he was going to go for the Colossus again, just like he did last game. But, well, starting off with Disruptor. Botvinnik still has a good position in this game, but GunGFu really brought it back. He's still down in upgrades. His tech still isn't great, only having that blink. You know, Resident Glaives is on the way. He's not going up to a Templar Archives, although he is starting to add on Disruptors. It's nice to see. But the upgrades will always be down, as double engineer base have finished up. The fourth base should actually be equal for Botvinnik as he lifts his main, which is completely empty on minerals.
I do want to note that I like that GunGFuBanDa is putting some observers all over the place. So he's got a lot of vision on top of the fact that he does take what is, like, honestly a bit of a risky fourth. He doesn't know the situation of Botvinnik. He just knows that Botvinnik sort of quote-unquote calmed down. So thanks to the observers being here and on the sides, if any drops go out, he'll see it. He'll know. Meanwhile, Scan goes down on the main base, and this doesn't look like too much, so I'm not sure if he'll read into it and be like, okay, there's definitely army somewhere on the map. Because if he just picks up and goes, he's going to lose his medevacs.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Wow, 3-4 medevacs.
Ouch.
Oh, man. That was some good blinks.
Well, that's really bad too, considering just how close the Marauders were to that. If had they stimmed first, like the Stalkers would have had to run away, they wouldn't have been able to engage. But GunGFuBanDa is getting to this point in the game too, where forget the medevacs for a moment. Liberators versus Colossus are going to be a very interesting dynamic. There's a couple of disruptors that were made, but of course we all know Liberators are a little bit better than disruptors. But what disruptors do is they keep the Marauders back and then clumped and unable to really focus on the Stalkers that blink forward or to the side to take on the Liberators.
You should be slowly siege hopping his Liberators forward here. Those are really going to scare the Disruptors. There's only 2 Disruptors, so whenever both of them utilize their shots, it's actually like, that's done for quite a while. That's not enough to continually throw out shots. But Botvinnik's playing pretty safe here. Disruptor shot is going to go forward. Oh, is he paying attention? Okay, good. I actually don't think that would have reached even if he wasn't paying attention. Colossus, it usually doesn't get target fired by the Liberators, but when it does, it goes down pretty damn quick, so gotta be very, very careful with that.
Well, while this goes on, I was hoping to start seeing like a Warp Prism or something peel off to the side, but it is just strictly both players focusing on this one pivotal part of the game. If you tune and expand on the bottom right, GunGFuBanDa's got the macro part of this down pat. Botvinnik's going to try and fake a bit of a move out. He's still scanning above himself to see if there's observers. Of course, there are still plenty of observers.
Yeah. He's only at 41 workers, and he is taking that 4th base as his main command center finally. So he actually does need mules still. You know, if he's at 55 workers, I think that it's freebie, but he will end up getting that 4th base. GunGfu probably wisely just disengages from that, realizing the bio armor is getting too big and his splash count wasn't high enough yet, especially if the Disruptors miss their shots.
This is kind of good for Botvinnik, though. This sort of concave comes in, focuses down the Disruptor, so only 1 shot goes off. Recalls, but misses the recall. Gonna pounce on the rest of the army, and it looks like Botvinnik with that concave is gonna close in and finally kill GunGFuBanDa.
Very nice.
Very well done. Rames, by the way, thank you. $10 right there at the end of the game, and he says nothing. He just donates $10. So Rames, thank you for being excellent. All right, well, congratulations to Botvinnik. That was, I feel he should have won the game, obviously, the first time, right? When he destroyed the Robo, went for the push. Didn't work out because the medevacs were dry. Okay, fine. Then the rest of the game looks so shaky, I was actually worried for him for the majority of that game. But, yeah, pulls it together in the end. Now this is where the best of 3s begin, however. We're going to start seeing some pretty good matchups. So Botvinnik now advances on to fight against Night End. We may just follow this because that's another pretty good TvP. But we are going to go to a commercial break, this time for the full duration. So do stick with us, and we'll see you guys here in exactly 2 minutes with more of the Corsair Cup when we return.